she kept me captivated from the day one.
Keep them captivated,
Yeah.
ladies.
No, I mean, there was a lot. I was always, I never got bored with it, you know what I mean?
Are you bored now?
A little bit, but.
Hey guys, Nessa here, 277 Fifth Avenue, and of course, relationship goals. Do I even need to introduce them? Nick and Vanessa hanging out with us. Guys, you guys are here. It's so much more different when you guys are in person because I just love the chemistry between you two. Okay, so I want to go back a little bit in time. When did you realize that Vanessa was the greatest person ever and that you should have married her? You see that? You see that cue? I got you, Vanessa. I got you.
Wow. It was early on. Once I got to know her, and we spent a lot of time early in our relationship. Like, I was in LA, she was here working in New York. So we spent a lot of time like on the phone, really truly getting to like know each other and learning about each other. And it was pretty early on when I was like, there's something special. I mean, clearly she's gorgeous, and so I was, I knew that from the outset. But yeah, there were a lot of things about the two of us that were similar goals that we wanted for families and for our lives, but yeah, I was just, she kept me captivated from the day one.
Keep them captivated, ladies.
No, I mean, there was a lot. I was always, I never got bored with it. You know what I mean?
Are you bored now?
A little bit, but in the beginning, though, not at all. In the beginning, it was every day was a new exciting. No, I'm kidding.
Was it at your video shoot, right? Was that when
That's when the first time that it was more than like a friendship, because
you guys were cool.
We knew each other, before that, and we were both actually in our own respective relationships, and we both were single at the exact same time. I'll never forget. It was like that Christmas season. He was single, I was single, and I was like, this is weird. And I had seen him because he came by promoting his new album.
Right.
And then he texted me. I was in Panama City for MTV Spring Break.
Of course, classic story.
And I was in a hotel, and he texted about the video, and I was like,
well, I always wanted to use the line, hey, you wanna be in my music video? And I never gotten the chance to use it. And I thought, if I want to get this thing played on TRL, what better way than to get a VJ in the video? They have to play it.
It worked.
I guess he didn't want Damien or Caduce in like a little mini dress.
It would have taken a slightly different vibe.
So I said, sure. And that, to your point, yes, was the first time it became more romantic.
Right.
Because when a guy's singing to you and pouring his heart out, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I'm really feeling it. Like, this was the first time after we were texting from that time. It was around January and then February, and the video was March. And then when he came to promote it, I was like, that's when things were turning. And then that summer, we started dating.
Vanessa, for you, what was the one thing that made you fall in love with Nick?
As a woman, to find a man who's willing to be vulnerable, and he literally, in his song that I was on the video, he's like, will you take what's left of me? This is me. This is who I am, this is who I was, this is where I want to go. And this is my good baggage, this is my bad baggage, this is me.
Right.
All on the line. And I was like, okay, and here's me. We're good?
Yeah.
Just that vulnerability, but also that strength behind it. It wasn't like a vulnerability like, oh, this guy really needs me to fix him.
Right.
He was fixing himself. And I loved that he was open about that process.
That you said that.
It was just a really beautiful thing to see such a powerful, successful man be so vulnerable, but still so strong. So I will say to the men out there, and women, if it's helpful, don't be scared to be vulnerable. I think that your spouse or your partner or your crush will find it sexy.
Yes.
And men, don't be afraid to ask them to be in your music video.
How long have you two been married? 14 years?
Together 14.
And then how long married?
It'll be 9 this summer. He waited 5 years to propose.
5 years? Okay, Nick, why?
But he knew then.
The timing had to be right.
Right.
There was some growth that we had to make as a couple.
Of course.
Honestly, I think that was one of the best things for us. We lived together. We definitely were a couple.
Right. We knew.
Leading up to it. But you want to get married at the right time and give yourself the best chance of success and having a really strong, great relationship. And so I think those 5 years it was an incredible opportunity for us to grow.
For sure.
And learn some things about, not just ourselves, but each other. And yeah, I think that's part of the reason we've been able to hold this thing together.
I feel like I should high five you. Is that worth it?
Yeah!
Relationship goals. It's important. What would you say has been the most important, secret to keeping a happy relationship and happy marriage?
I think for both of us, I've actually gone on record saying this, and we've both talked about this, is communication. And honestly, not to bring it around, but that's a huge part, if not the biggest part, why we wanted to be a part of this show for Netflix, Love is Blind. because it starts out with communication. If I'm able to communicate to my partner my feelings, good and bad, my desires, good and bad, and just, he's not a mind reader, but also you evolve as a person, as a wife, as a mother, as a working woman, and vice versa. He evolves in his ways as well. You have to constantly communicate. And so if you leave things to chance, or if you leave things unsaid, or if you hide things, then you start developing distrust, you start developing layers of inconsistencies. And so we constantly communicate. Even if it's bad, it's like, I'm feeling right now, I can't even look at you, I love you, I'm gonna walk away.
Right.
And then come back and say, this is what happened and why, instead of just like ignoring it.
Right.
And so it was really fascinating for us when the show came about and they're like, so these people aren't gonna see each other. And we're like, okay, so that seems like a show that's been, they're like, no. They're gonna talk to each other and they're gonna get to know each other. And then they have a choice to propose. I was like, ooh. So for weeks, they didn't see each other. We took away their cell phone, we took away television, computers, and they just talked to different mates, potential mates.
Literally, all you could do to learn about the other person was
It's just
ask
everything.
question after question.
Question after question,
have
but
long,
without
long
seeing them,
conversations.
good and bad. You don't see them roll their eyes, but you also don't see them and go, I'm sorry, you're just so beautiful, I want to make out. You literally are just, you're forced to get to know them.
Right.
And so
But
that foundation.
But also to appreciate and fall in love with somebody on the purest of levels, which is like
Just
getting
really
to know
them.
who they are,
Right.
like inside and out. And then later it comes the physical side of it.
Right.
But to truly like fall in love with someone to the point where you know you want to marry them, ask them and they say yes, based purely on getting to know them through a wall.
Heart.
It's pretty wild.
In their mind. It was wild.
And everyone there was there because they were looking for a life partner. That's the reason they signed on to to do the show. But I don't think if you'd asked any of the one of them before, do you think you're going to make that legitimate connection? I don't think you would have
Everyone was
gotten yes.
skeptical.
And people were blown away, including us, by how quickly and how strong those connections were made. And like it was just it was such a fascinating social kind of experiment to see the way that you take all those other peripheral things away, and how quickly can people truly fall in love with each other, sight unseen. And we saw it time and time again.
We didn't ask anybody, and by we I mean the show, didn't ask anybody to propose. That was a genuine, if you're gonna propose, great. If not, great. We had a great experiment.
Ooh, I like
So
this.
once they did propose, then we were like, well, now you're in it. Now we're gonna let you meet them, and we're gonna put you to the test of the physical realities and see if you can actually make it to the altar. And at that point, do you still say, I do to the person you fell in love with, sight unseen, or do you walk away from them forever?
What do people
Standing
do?
in your wedding dress. Well, you'll have to watch and see.
Wait,
On that
If you can imagine it probably happened. It was.
Oh my God. Okay, so you guys have 3 kids now.
Yes.
Do you guys want more kids?
We always say, I mean, truthfully, no. And what I mean by no is like, I feel like at 3, we can still balance our marriage and our relationship and our work and our children. When I look at people who have 4, 5, 6, or when I look at single mothers, I truly, in my heart, I'm like, you're incredible.
You are incredible.
And yes, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, if we were to have 4, we'll make it work and we'll do what we do.
Course.
But it's a lot of work.
Right.
And so I commend people who do.
That's so much fun to just have your own family and everyone has their own personality and they just, kids grow up to be their own person.
Which is why 4 would be exciting. I'm like, could you imagine like what a second daughter would be like? What if she's
I thought you squashed this earlier. You take care of this.
You never know if it happens.
But I will say this: we thought we were content with 2, and now could not imagine life without.
Oh, I cried when I found out we didn't plan it.
Right.
And I was scared how he would react because he's like 2 and through, we're good.
Right.
And then when I told him, I was like, I'm so sorry. He was so happy that it made me happy. He's like, what do you mean? Well, this is awesome. I was like, I mean, I wanted 3, but
you wanted 2.
He's like, no, I knew we were gonna have 3. I was like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I thought like 8 years from now, not like now.
Yeah, I planned on the oops, baby, just not quite yet.
Not so close. So yeah, we didn't even know what we were missing until we had it. And so I say, if you're on the fence with 3, go for it.
Do it.
100%.
I love this right now. Oh. What would you say is each other's pet peeve? Like if there's one thing you can't stand about Nick, and listen,
I
know he knows. I have 2. He knows both of them. And it's not emotional. Two of them. He can tell you, and I'll tell you. It's.
Okay. So what do you think she said?
The
It's either
2.
biting my nails or picking my nose. I'm hoping it's biting my nails. I
No,
couldn't
biting
see what
your
you were doing over
nails.
there.
Exactly. Don't just know what it is. What is it that every night?
Biting my nails. I do bite my nails. It's like biting
Every
nervous
night
habit.
when I'm like,
Oh, snoring?
Yes. I was saying snoring and biting your nails. God love him, but he's the snorer.
It's it's tough.
I'm 46, you know, you get older, you start
Life
snoring,
happens.
And then he goes, I'll go in the other room. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, of course not.
It's the beginning and the
Can't go
end.
there.
Just stay in the bed, just roll over.
Or we can just get twin beds. and
Fix
put them
your
in-
neck.
Just turn over. I love
Put a
you.
pillow, adjust yourself. You're not going anywhere.
But literally it was last night, and I was like, and he goes, what? And I go, what? It's the same thing every night. You're snoring, can you roll over? And I go, I'm so sorry, but if I wake you up in the middle of the night,
All right,
I'm not
this
waking
interview's
you up to
over.
have a
I'm
conversation.
out of here.
Bro, I have not
cut a little
laughed
close
this
to home
hard
now.
in so long. I think
Oh, wait.
Oh yeah,
Look.
okay, she's gonna ask me in a minute too.
That's
I'm
what I'm
like,
saying.
Okay, so what are the pet peeves you have towards with Vanessa? What can't you stand about Vanessa?
She
Why
has.
should you put it that way? What can't you stand?
At times.
When we watch something, she notoriously she tries to predict what's gonna happen next, or predict the line that's gonna come out next. I'm like, would you just shut up and let it happen?
I'm like, oh no, they're
You
gonna.
are a
we're
top-
gonna. Oh yeah. I'm like,
Oh.
oh, she's gonna walk in there, and he's gonna be right there, and he's there. He's there waiting. He's waiting. I knew it. I could have written this script.
Gosh.
And if they aren't, I'm like, I was wrong about that one. But
Or she's so perceptive that she'll catch every, like when they screw up a
the
continuity
mic,
thing
the
in a movie,
continuity.
like, nope, that
you can't
watches
have
on the
your
other
hair
hand.
on
Like,
this shoulder this
Right.
way, and then when you come over me, your hair is back here. I'm like, I'm out of the scene.
Yeah.
They stopped for lunch. She brushed her teeth, fixed her hair,
know
and now
too
they're.
much.
I'm
and I'm
out
like,
of the
I'm
scene.
so glad I'm naive to all of it because I can just enjoy the movie. And I
Right.
she
Or I'm like, did you
catches
see that
every
extra?
little
It's the same extra walking back and forth the entire scene. He's got a red blazer on. Like, fill him in.
Yeah.
And I'm so distracted.
You
He's
care
like,
about details.
details.
It's all about the details.
Details.
Yeah, but if it takes you out of the movie, it's like, what's more important? you know?
Yeah.
Details.
Details.
That's why people win awards, because they're details.
It's all about the details.
I feel like I'm getting ganged up on
Yeah,
that.
I know, I
I'm
know.
just saying, feeling a little attacked.
Vanessa
Feeling a
Square.
little
Right, yeah.
attacked.
Well, Nick, how's music going? I know you're on tour.
We are on tour. It's not a tour like per se in the
Sure.
kind of traditional sense, but we've been doing shows for like the last year. We'll go out for like a 2 to 3 day weekend. And honestly, it's great because we have so much fun performing now together.
Right.
I think even more fun than we did, back in the day. So it's tough to be away from the kids. I mean, that's the and of course Vanessa.
Right.
But that's the downside. But still being able to do what I love to do and be out there with those guys, and still having the fans, frankly, that come out and support it is awesome.
I love you guys so much.
Thank
Great
you for having
energy. Of course, absolutely. And you guys are
Thanks for
always
having us.
welcome to come back and hang out with me anytime. And I just, I love good energy.
Thank you.
And
We
thank
do
you
too.
for sharing
You're
your
awesome.
gems. Thank you so much. And listen, it's an MTV Family Connection
Right.
today, so this
Lives
makes me
on.
happy. It lives on. Thank you guys for being
Thanks
here.
for having us.
having
Yeah.
us.
Of course. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, show it some love by liking it, commenting, and subscribing so that you never miss out on the latest celebrity interview.